Is it expensive to live in Russia? Is it expensive to live in Moscow? If you are American, if you are a Western European, and you are going to retire, for you it will be very, very profitable to live in Moscow, because right now you can rent a flat with one room, with one kitchen, and all the things like bathroom, central heating, cold and hot water, only for uh, at least for $390 per month, and maybe $50 for electricity, water, and other stuff. But the prices depend on the area. For example, we have something like dormitory area. The prices for you people will be the cheapest. But for example, if you want the same flat with one room, one kitchen, and the bathroom in the center of Moscow, you will need at least $600 or $700. And still, it is very good value for money, because in the center we have architecture like in Europe, like different old buildings, cathedrals, churches, and so on. If you want to work somewhere, I think the best thing is to find a job as an English teacher, because we have a very, very high demand in a native English speakers. For foreigners, I mean, if you are a male foreigner, it will be easier to find a girlfriend here, because our women like foreigners, especially when they're from Europe or from the United States. But be careful, don't be a simp. How much money do you need for buying food and clothes? For example, if you want to save up your money, you can spend only 5,000 rubles per month on your food, and it will be somewhere like $90 or $80 per month. If you want to eat better food, you need to spend at least $150 to $200 per month. Okay, and for example, if you have only $1,000 income a month, what would you do in Moscow? At least you can rent a small flat or maybe a big flat somewhere in Moscow region, not in Moscow, but in Moscow region. We call it Moscow suburbs or Moscow Oblast. For example, there are a lot of cities, small cities near Moscow, like Vidnaya, Balashikha, Krasnogorsk, Domodedovo, and so on. There you can rent a flat only for, I don't know, maybe $250, maybe less. It depends how far is it from the train or from the bus stop that goes to Moscow. And if you choose the furthest parts of Moscow region, you can rent a flat just for $150 or maybe less, $120. Right now, I mean the furthest parts of the Moscow region. It will be 2 hours or 2.5 hours from Moscow to get to these parts. And now about cons. In Russia, we don't speak in English. Most of the Russians don't speak English at all. In Moscow, if you find a person who can explain to you something in English, it will be an achievement for you. That's why you need to learn Russian, you need to take lessons, you need to learn lots of words, and Russian isn't very easy to learn because we have lots of endings, we have lots of words, and we have sounds that English language doesn't have. That's why going here you need to have at least A2 or B1 level. Yeah, in Moscow you can see lots of signs with English translation, I mean with translation in English, but in Moscow suburbs, in Moscow region, you won't be able to find any English translations. That's why you need to learn Russian as hard as you can. Thank you for your attention. You were at my channel, Artem's Vlog in Russia.